And in the past 6 months, I've worked with Impact School and 6x'd my revenue this year. Hi, my name is Marianne Lehikoinen, and I am mom. I'm 26 years old, and I am a business coach in Finland, working with Finnish entrepreneurs. And we have a goal for this year. I haven't even talked about this with Lauren, but we have a goal that we can see that we could reach 1 million already this year. So that's exciting.
Amazing, Marianne. So welcome to the Impact School podcast. Thanks for coming on today. And I know we recorded an episode in the past, and from then we were speaking about how you'd added about 60K to your business in just a couple of months. And a lot has changed and grown since then. So could you give our audience a bit of clarity as to how your team is looking like now versus what it was looking like before, and the different offers that you're selling versus back then?
Yes, so thanks for asking me to be here again. And so when I started in the beginning of, I had got rid of everything that I did before, because it was bringing in some money, but it wasn't predictable, and I really wanted to see the growth and build a scalable business. And until then I didn't know how, but when I started, I really quickly, in the beginning of this year, I think it was February, made the first 60K month when started working with Impact School. And it happened in, I think we counted that it was 21 days. It wasn't even a couple months. And after that, my company has just grown, and it's still, and also growing. We are doing now 80 to over 100K months. I think this month I'm really realistic and really even pessimistic when I'm talking about this these numbers, because I know that this month we are hitting over 100K again. And it's so exciting. And now I have a team, like you said, how it looked when I started. It was just me working. I had a VA, and I also have had one sales rep selling my previous program, or my previous offer that I had before joining Impact School. And what I did before, I had so many offers. I had from 20 euros, these low ticket offers, to a couple of €100, and I sold over 1,000 online courses before, in 2 years. And I was making money, but it wasn't profitable at all. I used Facebook ads, and I made almost 80,000 euros last year. So it was a almost 6-figure business, but it didn't. It wasn't scalable or nothing like it's now. And the last thing that I did before joining Impact School and creating my current offer was doing B2B sales in retail stores, doing this sales training, but it was live coaching, and it wasn't an online course or anything like that. And now what I have is an offer that is, I don't know if I want to share my prices, because we are actually planning on raising our prices. But what I've sold now during Impact School is from 2K to even over 7K euros. So that's the price range that I was able to grow my offers. And now it's only been one offer, and I've done most of the sales this year with that one offer. Yeah.
Amazing, because you've more than tripled your prices, and then taken what was your entire income last year to make more than that now in just 1 month, with a team and with the margin, so that you still get to keep a lot of that money. Because I know that in the past you were doing a lot of the sales yourself, and now you were just telling me before we got on here that you and your partner were just having lunch together, and your sales team are closing deals without you. So can you walk the audience through what Impact School helped you with specifically to get to that outcome as to where you are now?
Yeah, well, that's true. We were just having a lunch with my husband, and my husband actually doesn't have to work nowadays, because I'm bringing all the money to our home, and he's with our daughter, who is 2 years old, most of the time. And and she's three days a week in kindergarten. And yeah, but so what I did step by step, I think the first thing was to create the offer, and really like what I now see when walking back, I think that I really had those like long term, like this vision that I still knew that I need to do one step at a time. So the first thing was to create that offer, and I only had like a goal of selling 5 of those, and I think that it was our first like live session. Yeah, when I had my goal and I said like, well, 5, I don't know how much I could make, but yeah, so I had that goal, and it would have been like 10K. So that was my first goal. And then when I just started selling, it just like I just got those new clients coming in. So I knew that my offer was great, and now I can scale it because I got like 30 people to my beta program in the first phase of the testing and the pilot program.
I'm going to pause you for a second because I know a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, I already have an offer, I already have a business, I'm already selling something. So what was different about what you were selling now and then your actual sales process that allowed you to pretty much 6x the revenue that you thought that you were going to make from this?
Yeah, well, I think that the first thing is to do the test sales process. So don't like build anything before you have those paid clients in. So what I did, I actually sold my program for 2 months before it started. So I had the time to like build that and also get the clients in. And I knew that, okay, well, I got 60,000 euros from like this beta phase clients, so I can have that freedom of working and also committing to that program to make it as good as it could be. So I think that that's also a commitment and making me accountable to those beta testers and the first clients when they have actually paid me, and also I gave them guarantee that I would give them money back if they didn't get results, because I was still testing my program. So I think that was one lesson that I got also from you, and I think that made it for me like more responsibility to create actually a great program and great offer and great like product for my clients. So yeah.
And then regarding the sales process, so how did you go about actually bringing in those clients? And then now you're bringing in consistent revenue, as you mentioned. So before, you kind of said like your income was up and down. Some months you'd have like a big month, the other month maybe you'd make a very small amount. So how did you stabilize so that you're consistently having these 6-figure months now?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, because before I had, like I said, I had that one sales rep, but it wasn't like anything systematized or like anything good, because this sales rep was doing everything on her own, like prospecting, lead gen, and having those sales calls. And what I did when I started working with you was that I actually myself started generating leads and doing it on social media. So I did all the messaging. I posted a lot, and also consistently. I've posted consistently since then, so I can see the results also now getting in a lot easier, because I've now done it for a few months and like consistently. So I did all that and also took all the sales calls myself. So I learned like from all those, I think, hundreds of sales calls that I've done in the past spring and winter. I think that now I know quite well who my ideal client is and who we can help. And that has helped so much now that I have a team to teach them how to, well, answer in all those situations with ideal, like, or leads or in sales calls, because now we have a sales rep who is amazing. I think she's even better than me in sales. And I think that is like the best feeling, because now I have also the possibility, because of all the money that I've been able to make to hire great people to my team. Like we had this meeting today with my operations manager about us hiring top talent because we need top people to run our top company so that we can keep the our standards high. So yeah, I think that doing it all by myself in the beginning and also doing it for, I think like now it doesn't seem like a long time, but then it can seem like pretty frustrating to have those calls. I had like 4 to even 10 sales calls per day at some point, but that was like enabled me to make those even 100K months. So I think that was the secret sauce in this sales process.
So if we go back to around March, April time, after that initial 21-day period where you made close to $70,000, what was it that since then we did with you that has allowed you to have the consistent 6-figure months? Because obviously you're no longer taking all of those calls. You did it for a while to get the exact system and the tonality of speaking to your prospects down, which for some of our clients coming in, they don't have to do it themselves. Maybe they already have someone on their team that can do it. But as you mentioned before, it was just you and a VA and a salesperson at the beginning, and the sales weren't as good as you wanted them to be. So you stepped in there to ensure that they would increase, which they obviously did. But since that time, when you had that first month, I remember one thing that you said, which was like, is this a fluke, right? Has this just happened like one time? Is this going to be consistent and is this stable? And then since then, your revenue has done nothing but increase. So how have you gone about that process of ensuring that the revenue and the profit margins are consistently high? Do you want to walk through the steps as to exactly what we did with you, what you were doing in trainings with my team, what you were doing then with your team to make sure that all of this was actually sustainable?
So now our goal is actually to reach 250,000 euros per month. And I'm really determined to reach 1 million in business already this year, and then to go multiple 7-figure business next year already. And like what we did with Impact School and the coaches there is that we like actually did everything from the beginning, like who to hire first. We created this first position for my team, and then I just went and hired that first person. I found top talent in the beginning already, and then we like looked at the steps what to do next. And I think that what my coaches at Impact School have been saying is that our phase and like the speed that we are growing is great, and like it's good speed that we are now taking, that we are not moving too fast to make it everything like too complicated or like difficult, but we are still hiring like a few persons per month, so I think it's quite a lot. And the first person I hired was operations manager, which was great because first she was working part-time, so I got to see like what it's like, but then I hired her as a full-time employee, and now she's taking responsibility over things that I've done in the past. So it's already freeing up my time so much. And also what's freeing up my time, I'm not doing the sales calls anymore, actually. I could do that, and I think that I will want to continue doing like some sales calls at some point, but I think like I don't need to do it because we have the sales rep and also another one starting next week. Hopefully we are still testing with her, but if she's good, then we are continuing with her, and that's something that we now can do because we have the systems and processes in place that we can have team members to take responsibility over things that I've done in the past myself.
And you mentioned systems, so of course your revenue has increased a lot. What are some of the systems that we helped you add specifically that you feel have been really cornerstone to allow for this consistent increase in revenue?
Well, now I think like the most important thing is to like get the understanding of how important those systems are, because it could be so much easier to just do it and go with the flow and not worry about having clear systems in place. But now that we have clear KPIs for all of the team members, I think it's really easy to see who is performing well or not performing like good enough. And like the main systems that has been impacting the growth, I think would be having clear specialist system and having the lead, because now when we went through with my operations manager her KPIs, the only thing that was like 100% great and didn't need any development was the lead gen. So we have like, I think that is one of the most important thing in business. And like all the others, you can develop and you can make them better and like in time. But if you have great lead gen, and like this is how we know that we are getting a revenue every single month and every single week, I think that is like the most important thing. And that's what we have now done with Impact School's help.
Yeah, that's great, because one of the things that I'd say for most of our clients that come in is we typically put them through a 30-day sprint to reposition their offer to ensure that they have consistent high volume of leads, and they don't even need to spend a single penny on ads. In fact, I know you're still doing everything organically. And it's interesting because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, they hear this advice on social media, like send 100 DMs a day or something like that, which if you don't have any strategy behind that, and if you're the business owner trying to do that every single day, then yeah, it's probably not the best use of your time. But as you mentioned, when you build an actual specialist system, which is our method of lead gen converting into sales and closing the deals, whereby a specialist, aka a salesperson, is doing it on your behalf, and then eventually you can build a team of specialists doing it for you, then as the entrepreneur, you can rest easy and know with certainty that you can go away and do whatever the hell you want, and deals are still going to be coming into your business. Then clients are going to be automatically onboarded and then passed over to a team of coaches or implementers who are then able to serve the client when you get to choose, okay, how much coaching do I want to do each week, right? So after we get off this call here, I'm about to do a session with our higher level clients whereby we're going to talk about CEO things, right? And just there's been some great questions that have been submitted beforehand. I know, Marianne, you mentioned a question which was to do with the mental, reprogramming as to having a fast growth business. And I think that's really interesting because we get to have these very, very honest and open discussions with a bunch of fast growing entrepreneurs, because I like to think that we are very, very good at helping people double, even triple, or even 6x their revenue like we've supported you with. And so I think what would be interesting is to hear from you what you feel like are some of the reasons why people set limits on themselves as to what they can achieve. Because I know this is something that you see a lot in your community. So you probably have some really good insight behind that.
Yeah, so I think the first thing is to really know that you can do anything you want. It's like up to you what you can reach or what you can achieve. And I think that understanding that, and then what changed my life was to actually read the Grant Cardone's 10x Rule book. I know that you've done an interview with him, and I've listened to that, and that book really changed my mindset on setting goals, but also what kind of actions you need to take to reach those goals. And like I said in the beginning, that I had this vision when I started, and even though I had those small steps like reaching 5 clients and then getting 10 clients and then reaching 100K month, I set myself these goals and start to think what I need to do in order to get there. And it takes actually a lot more action usually than you first could think. But what I do is take that massive action to actually reach those goals. And I think that is one reason to hit those goals faster than what others might even see possible. And also I think that seeing that bigger vision, because when I started, I already knew that I want to free up my time as an entrepreneur, and I just knew that I need to do this before I can have that freedom. And I think that people, when they don't see the bigger vision, that's sometimes why when they don't feel like their currently what they are doing isn't that meaningful. But I knew that all those DMs I did or all those sales calls I did, they were like super meaningful for me in order to now feel the freedom that I am feeling. And I know that in 1 year, this could mean for me so much different. I don't need to probably be doing the daily operations at all in my business if I don't want to. And I know that I can reach that maybe even faster because like I've done in the past, it's pretty fast.
So I know after you had that first big month, you were doing a lot of different things, right? And so I often hear people saying like, I'm so busy, I have too much to do. I'm trying to hire people, I'm trying to coach my clients, I'm trying to do agency work, I'm trying to make sure that I can post on social media, etc. And maybe they have a couple people on their team or even a big team, right? But maybe they're having to chase their team to ensure that the work's being done properly. I think it would be interesting to hear what you have to say regarding that, because I know we pretty much helped you build your team like from scratch, other than the couple that you had. So what would you say are some of the important variables for people in that sport who maybe things are moving, but it feels like a bit too much chasing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think my team has been rebuilt after joining. So we like started from scratch, really. I am not working with those two that I worked with before. Well, actually, the other one is now one of my specialists. And what I need to say about this is that I was there for a like short amount of time. I had so many clients. I needed to do sales. I needed to do DMing, and then like having one-on-one coaching was super helpful because we started to create these systems, and I like work in a way like I already had a team. So it made it so much quicker for me to actually have the team in place. And also like my coach reminded me all the time that you are not doing this for a long time now, you're just doing it now. And it actually was the truth, because now I'm not doing most of the stuff that I did then. And yeah, so I can actually like choose if I want to do sales or work with more clients, or like what I now want to do. And it's amazing. I really think that this is why we start our companies and become entrepreneurs, so that we can actually choose what we do, and that is part of the freedom. So yeah, I think, like, what was the question? What I think about going from chaos to having team, was it?
Actually, that's a great way of wording it. I think what you said was interesting though, because I hadn't really thought about that before, right? Like, because by the time that you were ready to start putting people into your team, you already had the system set up. And you know, I always say, let systems run the business and then let people run the systems. So when we say the word systems, I think some people wonder, like, what does this mean? How does that look? Because obviously, yeah, we could be talking just about like a lead generation system and a sales call system and a closing in DM system. But when you think about that word systems, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, well, it starts with recruitment. Well, you just shared with me your sales recruitment process, and that's like what you do. You give your own like these things that you've created already to your business, and you have proven them to work, and then you give it to me and my company. And now one of my employees can also benefit from your coachings and your like these live sessions that you have. But other than that, what you mean about the systems, I think it starts with recruitment and also like hiring systems, and also like getting those top people. I think that because of your recruitment systems, we have had great luck with all the people that we've hired now, because we've had those from the beginning. And then like onboarding clients, onboarding new team members, and like all from there to daily tasks, weekly tasks. Also what we do in Lead and Scale, we have like quarterly like these hiring evaluations, and like we have all these things that like big corporations I think could have, but we are already doing those, and I think that makes our company move so fast and still feel that it's sustainable, and also like this great speed in the growth, and also I think like it's easy. I think it feels easy for me as an entrepreneur.
Okay, so which parts have made it feel the easiest for you that we've supported you with?
Well, onboarding my operations manager, because she's getting support also from Impact School, like the same kind of support that I am as in CEO. She's getting support with Impact School in her like position, and I think they are already also your COO and or operations manager is having like this one-on-one session, and like tomorrow, and that's not even, I don't think it's even part of our lead and scale, I don't know, but but it's just like you give us the support that we just need in the moment, and that's like super like helpful and making my job easier, that I don't need to know everything when hiring operations manager or onboarding them, because you can like do some parts of it from my behalf.
Yeah, that's amazing, and that's really cool that Nora's going to be speaking with your ops manager. I know she was saying that she wants to get more involved with coaching and client support and all the consulting that we provide as well. So hey, that's music to my ears. Yes, I wanted to ask you as well, because I think you're still you mentioned to me you're still fully organic with regards to your I was going to say advertising, but obviously it's all organic marketing, right? So like, a lot of people, they are running ads, and I think you did an ads business before where you were like running a lot of ads to get your clients and such. Do you know what your margins were when you were doing that?
Yeah, so what I did before, I got like 99% of my clients through Facebook ads, and that was like there wasn't a profit margin. It was the first year in my business it was negative, and the next year when it was like this 80K year, I think like maybe 10,000 euros was like the profit of that year, and that's what I used to invest in Impact School in the beginning of this year. And now like we have, I think that it's like most of our expenses are just our salaries, and yeah, so I think it's super profitable. I've Because we are doing it everything organically. We only have this one lead generation partner, but I still think that now, or like 99% of our clients are coming in organically, even 99.9, because I think that this lead gen like this partner that we are using right now it's not that effective, that or systems that we have created now that are organic.
That's interesting. And so, changing from that Facebook ads model to the model that we supported you with, the specialist system at Impact School, like how much effort was it to actually make that switch?
I think it's pretty simple, but the effort was that I did it first myself. And as an entrepreneur, I know that it could be hard for somebody who has used to getting all the clients through ads, even though it's not profitable, but then you don't need to do that much if you have like agency or somebody to doing that for you. But what I think it's totally worth it, because now it's so profitable, and it's like every sale that we make, I know that it's like most of it, it's just profit. So it's crazy, and I wouldn't like even like how much effort it takes in the beginning. I wouldn't change it, because it's just the best way to run a business like this, I think.
That's true. And I remember because like I've spent hundreds of thousands on agency fees, and not to mention the ad spend that in like before 2 years ago I had spent. And yeah, same thing with me. Like it was kind of an interesting experience, because I think one of the things that I noticed was that a lot of the agencies that I was hiring were they would attribute sales to an ad, which actually had been closed like through a DM conversation, but because someone had seen the ad, the attribution was given to the ad rather than a DM convo, which is just something to be aware of. But yeah, I mean, like, we work with a bunch of great agencies and helping them actually scale their businesses and maybe even launch coaching programs. That's what a lot of them want to do. And so it's just interesting because I think people don't quite understand how high profit margins can be when you have a more simple business model and the operational infrastructure of your company is kept clean and simple. Because even for me, like, I used to, for years, we tracked so many different things, tracked all of them. And then we tried different tests with things. But then what we realized is that ultimately, if we just put all of that energy onto just closing more deals, we would have made more through having those one-on-one conversations and our team having those conversations and then aggregating all of that conversational data to actually be able to put out better offers to our market. And so it's funny because I don't know why we're like this as entrepreneurs and maybe as humans in general, but when we're doing something, we feel such a sunk cost towards that thing, because just because we've been doing it for a long time, it's like we should keep doing it. And because we've invested all this time and money in something, we should just keep doing it rather than making a change. But if you're putting your energy, effort, and resources on one thing, it means that energy, effort, and resources can't be on something else. And so not only have you spent the money on the thing that you invested in or the time on the thing that you're doing, but then also that money and time can't go towards something else. So it's just something that I think through quite a lot, because I learned a long time ago not to get attached to a specific thing, but instead to get attached to the result that thing will create. So when it comes to, because I know you mentioned this before, but I just want to like refresh our audience's minds, because you had been burned quite a few times by different other coaching programs. So I suppose it would be actually interesting for me to ask you, what made you trust Impact School when you'd been burnt so many times before?
Yeah, well, I don't think, like, I try to see every disappointment and failure also as learnings. So I didn't really feel that like burnt, even though that was a lot of money lost in coaching programs and coaches that weren't that great. But I think that like the difference was that you had clear process and system also for us as clients, like what to do. And when I started, I got my first like action plans already, and like it was super clear, and I really liked that structure, because so many programs, they just like, well, at least that I had been through, were like just like we start and then we meet once per week, and there wasn't like structure to actually get things done. So, and also like having proven methods that actually work, and it's not just like, well, you should try that or do that. So what made me trust Impact School was, I think that your authenticity and also your like social media, something that I hadn't heard before, like ever before. And I immediately felt like this is the missing piece of my business, that it's not working. And it was like a mind-blowing moment for me when I knew that, okay, you have something that I really need to my business to work like the way that I want. So I think that actually giving value, because all of the content that you've put up, it was super valuable. And I don't know if it was you who also had somewhere in your content that the sales start when you're like scrolling the coach's social media. And that's what happened with me. It was just like a couple of days that I had seen you, your like post that you had written on blog, and then I just had the call and joined Impact School. It didn't take long because I just knew and saw that you had something that I haven't like learned or seen anywhere else before.
When it comes to entrepreneurs trying to do so many different things, because you said just before you had loads of different courses, what was going through your mind when we said to you, let's simplify everything and let's like aggregate it all into one main offer? Because I know actually when I first did this a couple of years ago, I had so much resistance to doing that, because I thought, well, some people want this and some people want that, and this person wants this bespoke custom thing. So maybe you didn't have that because you're very, very coachable and like you take our consulting and you just run with it, which is great. But for other entrepreneurs who are maybe a little bit afraid of that, maybe even the type of clients that you support, how do you, how are you thinking about, simplifying and cutting stuff out?
Yeah. Well, one thing that has made it super easy is having a child. So I think that being a mother has helped me to understand that I can't do everything now, because I was the kind of this super productive person who did like all those things. I like graduated before my like the actual graduate date, and also had full-time job, had a side hustle business on the side. So I've done that all. And now that I have a child, and now I can't do that anymore, I've just needed to do that cut. And I think for me, it was like, that was the reason that it was easy. And also I had already had so many lessons about like focusing on just one thing before I joined. So I think that that helped me. But of course, I know that there are people, and also I have clients who are struggling with like letting go of something, like offers or like strategies that they have now tried to do, but it doesn't work, but they still want to do it for some reason. And what I would say is that it actually also makes your mind more ease when you don't have so many things on your plate. And always also think about that vision that you have, like what do you actually want to achieve, because that's also something that really can like help you to get rid of those things that actually won't take you to where you want to go. That's what I would say, I think. Yeah, well, I would actually want to be, I use Oprah as my like this picture, that I would want to have that kind of like presence, and also like this power and this wisdom. Like when you, she doesn't need to have anything else on her like Instagram bio but Oprah, and everyone knows what she does, and everyone like trusts her. So I really see that as my like vision, that I would like to be like somebody as influential like her, and really empower like underestimated women. I think that is like how I felt. Like so many people have said to me that you can't do it, like laughed at my ideas and like stuff like that. And now that I'm doing, like people have now shut up. But like I think that that is something that I really want to show others, that you can do it as well. And like for women at like especially, I think it's super like empowering to see examples like you, and hopefully now also me. And I already know that I've influenced a lot of people in my home country. I've had this career girl community, like thousands of women there, and like ambitious women. And I really hope that this is like my life work. And that's also what makes me more patient with everything, because I see that this is my bigger vision, and I can be there when I'm 40, 50, or even 60. So I don't need to like now struggle or push so much, because I know that I will be doing this for a long time. So I need to also keep myself healthy and in a position where I can do this for a long time.
That is so powerful. I was actually at dinner last night with Kayla. She was also, because, by the way, I met Marianne in person in the Impact School event that we ran in London, and Kayla was there from Australia.
I know her too.
Yeah, yeah. And so she was there with her partner. And I was sat down and I said, like, oh, we were recording this podcast today. And I was saying, like, it is unbelievable what Marianne has done, because you have a kid. Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, we're a similar age. You have a child. You're achieving all this success. And I'm just so grateful that at Impact School, we've been a part of that. Because when we met, like, it's interesting that you mentioned this, because I think sometimes, like, you don't see these things in yourself, or you have an aspiration of something, but then you may not yet realize that you've already fulfilled that identity. Because like when I met you, and I kept saying to my boyfriend, I was like, oh my God, Marianne's just glowing. She has just this energy and this presence. And he was like, I could tell he was just like, okay, stop talking about Marianne now. But I was like, no, I really mean it. I genuinely really mean it. And so I'm so grateful that we've been able to empower you to get there way more quickly than age 40 or 50, you know? Right now, you're like half that age. And so I think when it comes to having longevity and being successful in the long term, as you said, it's about having that understanding that if what you're doing right now is unsustainable for like a 2 or 3 month period, cool, sure, you're going through a sprint. But in the long term, like if what you're doing is just hustling all day, every day, you're gonna start to have a less amount of energy that can go towards it. Because even I used to find, like, I used to be able to hustle for weeks on end, months on end. And then now, if it's like a few days of a period where I'm hustling and grinding, it just feels like this energetic misalignment, which I personally have seen repels all of the success and abundance that I would otherwise have had. Because I feel like I'm chasing and I'm just trying to like scavenge for something. Whereas when you actually have the right systems in place, have the right team in place, then that stuff can actually happen. You know, when it comes to longevity, I remember how when I was first starting out, I'd be able to hustle for weeks on end. Like I would be able to just go and go and go. I wouldn't see a single person. I'd just be head down focused. I'd be doing this and that and all these different things. And what I've actually noticed as the years have gone on is that my ability to do the drudgery type of work now prevents me from being in this position of, I mean, this may sound a bit woo-woo, but I believe it, in this energetic alignment. And then because I'm chasing something, then I feel that I repel the things that are actually going to benefit me into the long term. So yeah, maybe I'll make a bunch of money in the short term. But I heard this great saying from a very, very well-known investor, which was never sacrifice the empire for a pot of gold. And so I know maybe you can relate to this, Marianne, but like in the past, for example, I used to have all these different funnels, all these different landing pages, all these different offers, etc. And I know you simplified and boiled yours down. But what actually are the different funnels that you are running now? Or are most of your sales made primarily through DMs without having an entire series of landing pages and such? I feel like this is going to be interesting for our audience.
Yeah, so we don't have any funnels or anything right now. We have this one landing page where you can see the webinar recording that I did. But like previously, I did webinar per month, like once a month. And now I've done like one webinar last spring, and I'm still using the same recording of that webinar. And that's just on our website, so if somebody wants to see that. And also sometimes we can just like link that to some leads or some prospects on DMs. But other than that, we have just used the specialist system to generate all this income.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think for a lot of people that seems really impossible. I know for me that would have been the case because like I'm a marketer at heart. Like I love marketing, but frankly, it's just not necessary, you know. And all of the energy that goes into split testing and all of these different campaigns, etc. You can just turn that into a repeatable client acquisition system, scale that, and then once that's tapped out, then you can move into putting on a front end offer on the front of that. Because then when you know the high ticket back end is converting, then anything that goes in the beginning of that then just ascends people because you already know that that higher ticket thing converts. So, I mean, my team asked me, Marianne, to ask you various different questions about like, you know, your cost per client and your ad click-through rate and funnel conversion rates, blah, blah, blah. But like, at the end of the day, all of that is being done through DM, through sales call specialist system and such. And the nice thing is now you don't have to get involved with any of that process yourself. So let's talk about the intricate details of your day-to-day now versus your day-to-day 6 months ago. So how you're spending your time now versus how were you spending your time back then?
Yeah, so what I did back then was struggle to get clients to make money, and I didn't see like the predictability in the way that I was doing it back then. So I was constantly stressing out like how to get new clients in and so on. And also I wanted to build something scalable, and I wasn't doing that either because in one point I really was doing this live coaching and trainings with the B2B clients like 6 months ago. And what I do now, and also actually what I want to say is that I did this like DMing before I joined Impact School, and I sent like hundreds and hundreds of messages without a single sale. And I don't even know like how to explain what is the difference, because I got that DMing tips and everything like that from another program. I'm not going to mention names, but it wasn't that like effective, I would say, because then I joined Impact School and everything just made sense. And I don't know if it was like the money-making messaging method. I think it is that. And that's what our specialists are currently also doing. And that's what brings now all of our new clients in. And so what I do now is I actually have freedom over my calendar, because now I'm not doing the sales calls anymore or the DMing or anything like that to get clients. Of course, I still am like overviewing everything that our team is doing and overviewing that, but now I can actually start to, or like again, to see the bigger vision and like what are the next steps now to grow from here, and also like what are the next hires to make our team even more powerful. Working with my operations manager it's super fun to work with somebody, because 6 months ago I really felt alone, and it was the feeling of like over a long time I felt really alone working towards my own goals. And now I have the team and we all share the same mission, and also like most of my team members are actually my clients from some point over my entrepreneurship career. They are like clients of us now or before. So that also makes working together even easier, because they already know what we are doing and they share the values and also the mission. So I think like now it's just so much better. But I also have these next goals where I want to see myself really freeing up myself from day-to-day work, because now I still do a lot of client work and I really like it and I love it actually, but I really want to be able to build a company. And this is like my motto from the past. I wanted to build and grow a business that grows and develops even if I'm not in it. So I think like it's pretty similar to your like let the systems run, like the people run the systems in your business, because I think that like that is super like powerful to be able to do that, because like you said that if you got hit by a bus, like would your business survive? And that's what I go for, because I really want to make an impact. So yes.
Yeah, that's great. And I'd love to ask you, when you're going about scaling your business, etc. Of course, you have our support and our strategic guidance as well at Impact School. And so I know you've been working with our head of client success too, regarding leadership and growth and all the hiring and systematization of your business, as well as your own master coach who's been supporting you with sales, lead gen, etc. And so what do those sessions look like? Because I know obviously you get on as much one-on-one support as you need with us on calls and on Slack and communicating back and forth. But what would you describe this experience to be like? Because when you sell something like consulting, like what we do at Impact School, and coaching and systems, like it kind of sometimes feels like a bit intangible unless you see the physical system, how it looks, which is what we're trying to showcase more of on social media and YouTube and the podcast and such, so people see that. But the actual sessions, how they go, do you want to describe that for our audience?
Yeah, well, I don't think there's just one way, because all those meetings are like with different agendas. And I think that they are like, when I'm participating sales training, for example, I try to do that every single week to get better at sales. And that's something where we actually go through the actual sales calls that we've had and the problems we've had in them. And also when we are meeting with AC, who is your like the client success director. And I think that with him, we have actually created the systems, and he's had these sessions with our operations manager to help to actually create those systems to our business. So that those are more like workshops, and we do the work in those sessions. And then when I have these sessions with my one-to-one coach or my master coach Lara, I think that those are more like also emotional support. We go through like what I'm feeling and what I'm going through each week, and it's been super important. And I think Lara is the best one to keep me accountable of everything, like all the action steps that we've come up with, and she also creates them to me, and she gives me all the tools that I need to actually make them happen. So it's just me making the things happen. There's no like that I need to go and figure out myself something, because I will get the help that I need and then just do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so regarding like having to sit down and watch tons of videos in like a training portal, because you mentioned how sometimes your coach will send you like a personalized video regarding your specific questions or action plan that you're working on. How much time have you had to spend actually, sit down in the past three months, like actually just watching videos in a portal?
Well, I don't know, not a lot. I don't think, like, I was super amazed how short your videos can be from the trainings, because when I started I had those like basic trainings on your e-learning platform, but those weren't long, and I really liked it because I've also been in programs where the videos are like 3 hours or something like that, or like, yeah, recordings of some old live trainings. So I think that like you just give the minimal what you need to do to get this done. So yeah, I haven't been sitting and watching videos. I think maybe last time was in February when I started.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. And that was because as well you were on like our more earlier stage program then as well. So it's interesting because we really take pride in giving bespoke one-on-one consulting to every single individual client at Impact School to implement our proven systems. And okay, so obviously, Marianne, you would have eventually have got success because you're the type of person who would have gone out there and made it happen no matter what. And so I would like to know, where do you think you would be at this current moment if you hadn't have started with Impact School?
That's an interesting question. I really don't know. That's super hard. I think that like what had done was started selling my first high ticket offer. So I don't know, maybe doing some like 10K per month. Yeah. Like I still can't believe what I've done. Like now I'm stressing, like how is this even possible? That is my stress right now. Like how I've been able to do this, and it's just amazing. But yeah, I don't know. I think that I was thinking about like reaching 1 million before I'm 30. And now that I can see it's happened so much quicker. And I remember talking about this with my coach Lara, and she said that, yeah, it won't take that long. And then it wasn't like really realistic for me. And yeah, so now I can see it happening pretty fast.
Amazing. Oh, I'm so proud of you. And I think you just are a true definition of someone who, when you know there's success with a specific system, you just dove all into it and you were willing to work with us to add the systems to your business, to get in the trenches, to do the work for a little bit of time so that you can have a lifetime of freedom. And so I would love for you to share anything with our audience, maybe someone who's thinking about potentially joining Impact School, anything they should consider before they join. Like, are they ready for this yet? Maybe they're not. Maybe share some of that stuff, what you would say is important. And then anything else which you think they should know regarding Impact School. yeah, before they get started.
So I think that the most important thing you need is to be able to commit to yourself and ask yourself this question like, are you ready to succeed? Because that's what's going to happen when you just join and also do the work. Because of course you need to do the work. And like the funny question that I also get from my clients, and I think like all the coaches can like relate, is like, well, how long does it take for me to like day to day to make that happen? But I just see it like, well, like why aren't you ready to put in the work to get that, well, in this case the freedom, and grow your business to the levels that you probably won't be able to do on your own if you haven't done it before. It's like I don't think that it's possible. Well, you can do it for like years and years, but why try to come up with some things that have already been come up with, and like some people can teach them you that, and you can do it so much faster. So I think that you just need to be ready to actually succeed and to commit to the work. So because if you just join, you will get everything you need and everything that like you need in place to make 100K per month. And I think it's just about you setting those goals and actually doing the work.
Yeah, that's powerful. And you know, some of our clients even come in at that stage already, and then even just a couple small changes can take them to 2, 3, 4, 500K per month, with just one offer, right? Or maybe they already have a successful business doing 8 figures or something, and now they want to have a coaching program to teach what they did in that business. Again, same thing goes, right? Like just follow the system, we get you the result. And so that's powerful as well. Like, I think that's important, you know, having the mindset to be ready to actually commit to this, or to allocate some resources on your team to actually get them to do the work to get it done. And so finally, Marianne, because like I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of like your audience as well, your clients watching this. So regarding how you can support them in getting their business started, and to that kind of first stage, like what would you say are the most important things for them to be doing to get to the first 10K months, and then 10 to 100K per month? What's the difference between that?
Great question. I think the first 10K months, you need to be able to create something that people want to buy. So the offer comes first. You need to have a great offer and do the work to get those first 5 clients, because that's probably what it takes if you have like 2K offer. And then just continue working with the lead gen. One of the biggest lessons I learned from Lara, my coach, was that never stop lead generation. Like even like what you do, don't stop that, because you always will need that, and there will come a point when your calendar isn't booked. Well, now actually there isn't that kind of moments anymore in my business, because we have like scaled these systems even more. But when I was doing it alone, I needed to do it daily to make sure that there was enough calls to reach those like goals that I had set to my business. And the difference between 10K and 100K, I think that is still pretty much like doing the same things, but focusing on just those things that actually bringing the revenue, and also like having the like super clear while framework that you go through. So you are only focusing on those things that will bring you that revenue. So it is lead gen systems and having great sales process that actually brings in new clients. So, and also I think just like raising your prices will make it easier for you to reach those 100K months. Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely, because I did the first 100K month myself. I was the salesperson, and yeah, but now my team is like doing like 40K per week, and I'm not doing anything. And it's just amazing to see when you scale and have person to have responsibility over just one thing, and they are doing that with like a great talent, because they get so much better when they are doing it day daily. And yeah, so I think that it's just super important to also hire in the beginning and do that and take the risk. But I don't think that even a big risk, even with the, like when you're doing it with your strategies, because I, like most of my team members are, like their salaries are based in commissions over sales. So like they get quite high salary now when they are doing sales, and I know that like it's based on the results that they bring into the company. So it's not that big of a risk to the company even.
That's amazing. And so if anyone's interested in working with Impact School, I'll leave a link in the description box to actually apply to become a client inside of our Lead and Scale program. That's if you're at the stage where you're wanting to scale upwards of 20K months from a coaching program or an agency offer that you have. And then if you're wanting to get started, I'll leave a link for anyone who is interested in working with either Marianne, if you're finished and you want to get her support because she's bloody brilliant at what she does. And then if you want to get our support in getting to those first like 10, 20K months, I'll leave a link to that as well. If you're finished, definitely go to Marianne, will be a better fit for you for sure. And there's also a link in the Impact School bio on Instagram, which is impact_school. That's the username to be able to apply to work with us. So we right now need to hop onto a call with Impact School clients. So we're going to have to bounce. Marianne, thank you so much. I'm going to link all of your social medias as well so people can check you out. I'll link mine as well. It's just at Lauren Tickner. And yeah, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. It's been really, really fun. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Impact School's podcast and hopefully welcoming you as an Impact School client. See you later.